I want to go into your 1-800-GOT-JUNK story because, to many of us, that's sort of a defining era for you.
1-800 Got Junk was what I got known for, but there was a
Right.
track record of growth that was, pretty substantial. I was a co-founder of what now became the largest chain of collision repair shops in the world. It's called Boyd Auto Body in Canada, Gerber Auto
Okay.
Collision in the US, publicly traded on the TSE, $2 billion market cap. Then we built a private currency company back in the late 90s that we sold for 64 million in 2000. And then prior to that, it was College Pro. So, sorry, what do you want to ask about 1-800-GOT-JUNK?
That's incredible that you have had success at significant scale at so many various companies from in various industries. It's virtually unheard of because most entrepreneurs are really good and deep in one field or industry. So kudos to you. It sounds like you had a common talent or skill set or insight that you were able to transfer across industries. So I want to come back to some of those other companies, but on the 1-800-GOT-JUNK story, you're well known for that. When you got there, it was quite a small enterprise, a couple $1 million in revenue. Tell me, what was it that brought you there, and then how did the journey to making it a leader in a category that probably never even existed?
Sure. So 5 years prior to joining, I had invested in becoming a part of a mastermind community called EO. It was called YEO at the time, the Young Entrepreneurs Organization. And I was in a forum with Brian, who was running a business called the Rubbish Boys. He was bumping up to about $1 million in revenue. I was running the auto body business and then later the private currency company. So he watched me for 5 years building those businesses. I watched him struggling and growing his junk removal business. And he asked me if I would coach him at the end of that 5 year period. And I said I'd come in and coach him, but I would never work for him. After about a week of coaching him and his team, the team came in and said, we'll never be able to do what Cameron's teaching us. You should just bring him on board full time. So I was really inspired by the vision that Brian had for scaling 1-800-GOT-JUNK. And then I was able to reverse engineer that vision very quickly and show him the critical 10 things we needed to do to get that traction and get that growth happening. So we just started to execute on that. And I think that the three big ones that we did was we raised our prices by 40% that first month. I went in and no one was making money. Brian wasn't making money. The company wasn't. Franchisees weren't. Guys in the trucks weren't. The call center was being paid minimum wage. So I'm like, we have to become like that FedEx of junk removal or that Starbucks of junk removal and become more of a premium price and then really show up with that delivery. So we raised our prices 40% across the board. Everybody thought we were going to go bankrupt. I said, we're going bankrupt anyway. So we're either going to go bankrupt and try to be profitable or we're going bankrupt anyway. But I understood the unit economics across the P&L. And I wanted our franchisees to be able to make a lot of money too. Because if they made money, they would validate, we could sell more. Second thing we did was we had to build a little more than a business and a little bit less than a religion. And I wanted to get into the zone of a cult. And I was very well known for having built these company cultures. And I knew that culture would scale the company. So we became the number 2 company in all of Canada to work for 5 years later, twice ranked number 1 to work for in British Columbia. And it was that cult-like magnet that attracted, good employees, good franchisees. And then the third flywheel we focused on was more press coverage. We had no money for marketing, but I understood how to land free PR. So we really built a good PR machine. And over 6 years, we landed 5,200 individual unique stories about the company. And that was prior to social media even existing. So we had nowhere to amplify the PR. I talk about it in my new book, Free PR. But those were the three kind of focuses or flywheels that we focused on and obsessed on. And then I guess the last was really growing people. Like we really, really focused on growing the leadership skills of people. I have a course called Invest in Your Leaders that codified those 12 core areas. That would have been the focuses.